a partner organization at Microsoft. So today I'm here with you to present the business value, the use cases of and scenarios of Windows 365. So we'll discuss the different aspects of our new technology called Cloud PC. So not have a burden on the network, so I'll be closing of my camera. And by the way, if you have any questions, as Iyabade told, just ask your questions through Teams chat or just raise your hand so we can discuss your questions. So I actually want to start with a quotation from Satya about our cloud PC technology. So he says, with Windows 365, we create a completely new category, the cloud PC, bringing the operating system to the cloud for the first time, so you can stream the full Windows experience to any device. And he also added, you can think of it as a Windows computer with Azure computing. And I love how these two technologies now can come together to create a full SaaS solution as in the cloud PC category. So before we get to know more about the technology, I want to tell the motivation behind creating this new category called Cloud PC. So as you know, we emerged from a pandemic and we're now shifting into a new world of work, which is hybrid work, right? So organizations need to adopt digital solutions to keep their people connected and collaborating, whether they are working from home or at the office or anywhere in between, right? So flexible work in this case lets us do more. I mean, it's opening possibilities for people everywhere, but and people don't want this flexibility to end, right? In this hybrid world, and it's reflected in this data. So we have that. That's why actually we executed and we published this work trend index with findings from a study of more than 30,000 people in 31 countries. So the numbers have actually shown really interesting things to us. So the first thing we have seen is that 57% of remote workers are considering going hybrid in the year ahead. And 52% of workers are considering going hybrid or remote in the year ahead. You see, so there's a huge shift to remote work and hybrid work. And also 38% of workers say that flexible work hours are very important for them. So what we see here is employees saying they want more flexible remote work options, but at the same time also saying they want more in-person collaboration. So this is the hybrid work paradox that we are having nowadays. And I'm sure you all know from firsthand. So the shift to hybrid work creates new opportunities for you, but it also creates new challenges. So things look different when the IT team isn't down the hall from employees who need help. So new employees need to be onboarded, distributed teams need to be connected, specialized workloads need to be enabled, and of course, new projects need to be scaled up. So IT needs to not only get employees set up and supported ongoing, but they also to respond to rapidly changing environments, while, I mean, of course, still maintaining the business continuity, right? And while managing this, IT also needs to ensure they are keeping their estate secured and meeting ever-changing regulatory requirements, right? So it's a challenge to address these needs with agility without overburdening IT, letting costs get out of your control, sacrificing your employees' productivity, or even compromising security. We all know about these challenges. So, with this in mind, actually, I want to discuss what we hear from you. So we hear from you just how hard and time consuming this can be to manage. So to navigate these challenges, our customers are now using the tools available to them today. So the first one is client PC, and it's known, it's loved, and it's what most people are familiar with. So many larger organizations have also added traditional virtualization if they need more scale for app streaming, while others find value in desktop as a service. So these solutions help address common commercial needs, but they are not always suitable for all scenarios or resources. So virtualization, as you know, has been around for decades, and it was a game changer for many organizations. But it requires IT to have experience with virtualization that many companies aren't able to do or don't want to invest in anymore, right? And also, desktop as a service is a newer concept comparably. It's offering a cloud-based operating system, right? Many organizations have adopted it and it's expected to grow. But desktop as a service has limited infrastructure integration, requires learning a new provisioning flow in a new admin tool, and billing systems are siloed in desktop as a service solution. So with this in mind, with all these motivations behind, we introduced this new category called Cloud PC. So to unlock new scenarios for you, we announced this category of hybrid personal computing that delivers Windows 10 and Windows 11 from the Microsoft Cloud with Cloud PC. So our operating system, Lovely Windows, has been the heart of Microsoft for decades as the most fundamental and innovative platform for work, learning, and development, right? So to keep delivering on this promise, Cloud PCs today offer a unique set of capabilities different from what is available today. So Cloud PC is finally your personalized desktop, your personalized applications, your personalized settings, and your personalized content streamed securely from Microsoft Cloud to any of your devices. So you see, it delivers a distinctive interaction between Microsoft Cloud and the end user experience on any device. And it also provides this integration between the cloud and the PC operating system for a consistent experience, right? And maybe from security perspective, it also provides unified security and identity management from the cloud to the device, even your end users are on a personal device, right? So you will have this also seamless compute and storage handles that can rapidly scale to meet your needs. You can easily go up and down. So this will all be, these are all available in our Cloud PC technology. So as we are more familiar with the Cloud PC category, maybe we need to discuss more about the Windows 365, right? So we are now uniquely positioned to bring together the PC and the cloud with a consistent and integrated Windows experience. And Windows 365 does just that. So you remember, I'm sure you remember the times we brought Office to the cloud with Office 365 10 years ago. So this is pretty similar. We are now bringing Windows to the cloud with Windows 365. So Windows now evolves from being a device-based operating system to a hybrid personal computing platform. It's flexible for people, it's scalable for your business, and is powerful for your innovation. So with this in mind, Windows 365, as you see, is a cloud service. So it's introduced a new way to experience Windows 10 and Windows 11 for all businesses from all sizes. It just securely streams the full experience, including the user's applications, data, and settings from Microsoft Cloud to any personal or corporate device. So also keep in mind that with Windows 365, you can assign users one Cloud PC or many Cloud PCs that align to the work they need to do. and each cloud PC can align to a different configuration of compute power and storage. So this is a valuable thing for your end users. And we will see different configuration and compute power options in the upcoming slide as well. So as I said, Windows 365 is just bringing this new cloud PC hybrid personal computing category to life, using the power of the cloud and the capabilities of the device to provide full personalized Windows experience. This new Windows experience comes as organizations around the world grapple with the best ways to facilitate hybrid work models, where your employees are both on site or distributed across the world, right? So that's why we created Windows 365 experience as a familiar and productive by delivering users on their personalized content, settings, and applications. It is super simple to deploy and manage from a single console, easy for anyone to use. Of course, we designed it to be secure, leaving no data on the device when appropriately configured by admin, because it is built on the Zero Trust security foundations. And of course, this is also very valuable. It's available on any device and optimized for the best experience on a Windows PC at a predictable price. So by predictable price, I mean fixed price. So we will see the details, but you'll have this, you will know exactly what type of cost you will be facing. So we need to also talk about the integration of Windows 365. So you can leverage your existing infrastructure with Windows 365. It works seamlessly with Azure Active Directory, Microsoft Defender, Microsoft 365 applications, and of course, Microsoft Intune, because the whole management is done by Microsoft Intune. So it requires no special skills or previous experience with virtualization. You see, so I think that's breakthrough. So because it allows your IT to use the same tools you use today to manage your devices. Now you can manage your physical and virtual endpoints together side by side in Microsoft Intune. So that's the value that we are bringing with Windows 365. And I think we need to discuss this fourth thing about Windows 365. I mean, I care these four things a lot. So the first thing is sustainable by design. And I really want your attention here because after this, I want to ask you a question and we will post this question in the poll. So the four things that we really care about Windows 365, the first one is sustainable by design. So Windows 365 runs in the Azure cloud, right? Which has been carbon neutral since 2012. And we will be carbon negative by 2030, which means 100% renewable energy, water positive, zero waste, net zero deforestation, and we would have removed all traces of Microsoft carbon footprint since the company was incorporated in 1975 by 2030. So this sustainability stuff is really, really important for us. And second thing is fantastic user experience. So you can run this fast, modern Windows 365 experience on any old hardware, including Mac, iOS, Android, Chromebook, and even the 10-year-old brick of a laptop in your bottom driver. So you can work this Windows 365 with all these hardwares. So to deliver the Windows 365 user experience, we rely on some of the most innovative cloud compute and network fabric Microsoft has ever built. So we performance tune the user experience and we provide fully patched and optimized Windows deployment images so you don't have to manage them. And third, this is pretty important. It's SaaS. It's buy, don't build. So you remember I told you we brought Office to the cloud with Office 365 10 years ago, and now we brought Windows to the cloud with Windows 365. So this is not virtualization. It is built on virtualization, and with other solutions like our own Azure Virtual Desktop, the customer needs to run their own virtualization practice staffed with full-time employees, right? So now you can actually ask yourself this single question. For this particular use case, do you want to have a dedicated team for this virtualization deployment? If your answer is yes, great, you should go with Azure Virtual Desktop. But if your answer is no, then you should absolutely go with Windows 365. And finally, I think one of the most important thing about the Windows 365 is the feature of Windows operating system, just like Office 365. So Windows now evolves from a device-based operating system to a hybrid personal computing platform. It's flexible, it's scalable, it's evergreen, and immensely powerful. So upcoming Windows releases will remove boundaries between local PC and cloud PC, and I think it's super important. So our customers thinking about their operating system strategy need to consider Windows 365 in their environment right now. New features like offline mode and boot to Windows 365 is in the Windows 365 roadmap and will be coming in the upcoming period. So I talked a lot, so I want to ask you a question. So we are now posting a question into Teams chat, and it's going to be a poll. So please vote your answer in the chat. I want to ask you which one of these things that I have just mentioned, which one is most important to you about Windows 365? It being sustainable by design? Is it its user experience? Or is it being a SaaS model? Or is it being the feature of Windows? So which one sounds the best to you? I mean, which one is the most important thing to you right now in your agenda? So we'd like to hear from you on this one. Okay. Well, perfect. User experience is winning, I suppose. Great. And also I see some response on feature of Windows. Yes. Great. Great to hear these responses. Okay, so while you keep voting, I want to talk about why do our customers care about Windows 365? Okay. So can you see the slide starting with why do our customers care about Windows 365? Can I see some thumbs up if you see the slide? Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's discuss why do our customers care about Windows 365? So the first thing we hear from our customers around Windows 365 is about its purchasing experience. It's simple to buy, it's simple to deploy and manage. So we hear, of course, our customers like VDI. I know some of you like VDI infrastructure, but sometimes it's just complex and hard to scale across geographies and takes lots of IT resource. But Windows 365 is SaaS for VDI. So it's just simple, scalable, and it requires no IT admin overhead at all. And the second thing, I think this is pretty important for me. So it's always ready and updated. So provisioning a Windows 365 Cloud PC is simple as assigning a license in the Microsoft 365 admin portal, believe me. So think about like this. Your IT admin can give an up-to-date cloud PC to thousands of users in under 1 hour. So you see the power, right? I mean, that's really breakthrough. And as I said, you'll have predictable costs. We know that traditional VDI costs are variable and it's use consumption-based compute. For example, Azure Virtual Desktop, you have this consumption-based compute, right? But Windows 365 is just like Office 365 or Microsoft 365. It's a fixed per user per month cost. And the good thing, you have the disaster recovery built in by design. So you don't have to care about the, cost going out of control. So you will exactly know your cost regarding Windows 365. And also, as we discussed, it's streamed to any devices. Either it's personally owned or corporate owned. The cloud PC is bringing old hardware to life. Okay, think of Windows 365 as an OEM alternative. So we continually performance tune and optimize the end user experience to feel like a modern physical PC. So that's why your end users will continue to use their old hardware. It's all about the internet connection. So I just want to brainstorm here. So I'll tell you a couple of use cases and scenarios, and actually we will post another poll into Teams chat so you can think of a scenario at your company that you're dealing right now. Okay. But before we get started with these scenarios, I want to show the whole list of them. So we have really different types of scenarios with Windows 365 right now. But what we heard from our customers so far are mostly around 9 different scenarios. So we will discuss the details of each scenario in detail, but I just want you to be aware of these 9 scenarios. So data security, high capacity computing, bring your own PC programs, disaster recovery, temporary workforces, mergers and acquisitions, remote and hybrid work, end of service devices, and finally existing VDI workflows are great scenarios for Windows 365. So if you have this type of scenario, please keep in mind that Windows 365 can be a good option for you as well. So before discussing the details of the use cases, let's just try to understand the benefits of end users and IT. So end users will have an access to their cloud PC from anywhere via web or client, right? And the device or the operating system are gonna be their preferred device and operating system to access resources. They can access from Chromebook, they can access from macOS, right? And their data will always be synced. You can sync this data from physical to cloud PC with OneDrive for Business. And the experience, they will just maintain a single physical PC. They will have their cloud PC in Azure. So they just need to maintain a single physical PC. And of course, as you see, onboarding experience is super easy. So you can get compute quicker than ordering a physical device, as you can understand. And from IT perspective, management is just like the same way as physical device. From responsibility perspective, you are pushing VDI infrastructure management to Microsoft. I mean, you get rid of that burden. And the learning curve, as we discussed, it does not require any VDI knowledge at all. You will keep using the same set of policies and applications as a physical device with Intune. And for the performance side, you will get analytics on Cloud PC at any point in time. So we will give this user-friendly dashboard so you can keep track of what's going on with your Cloud PCs. So now I actually want to discuss a bit more in detail about each scenario. So first, let's just discuss about data security. Okay. So Users with data security needs require the ability to improve regulatory compliance and IP protection, right? With Windows 365, because it's in a contained environment, you can keep data within control, right? In organizational storage location. In addition, offshore developers may need to prevent code from being easily copied to storage locations outside of company control. So on a basic level, you can easily configure cloud PCs to prevent clipboard redirection, USB storage device, and printer access. So you can then further reduce the attack surface for identity and access management, information protection, data loss prevention, threat protection, and you can even implement endpoint management via Microsoft Suite. Another scenario that you can think in your company is high capacity computing. So we have some customers may.
Jessica was one that commissioned it.
You have a question? Okay, I think it's by mistake.
I muted him. I apologize.
No worries. Okay, so let's discuss about the high capacity computing scenario. So some organizations may have multiple physical or virtual machines to do their work, each with their own limitations, right? So Windows 365 can ensure an always-on available compute resource to speed up processing and therefore improve productivity and performance. So think about trading applications in finance industry, or development of code, programming, or like modeling that we use in finance, manufacturing, or some design work that we use in manufacturing and retail sector and more. So high capacity computing scenarios can be one of them. So Windows 365 Cloud PCs starts with 2 vCPU, 4 GB of RAM, and 64 GB to 8 vCPU, 32 GB, and 512 GB of storage. So we will see each configuration in detail in the upcoming slides, but if extra resources are needed for the cloud PC, an admin or end user can easily upgrade the size of their cloud PC to meet the high capacity computing needs. And one of the best scenarios that we hear from our customers so far are around bring your own PC programs. So bring your own programs have traditionally focused on mobile for the longest time, because bringing your own PC really is a difficult thing to do without virtualization. And now we can bring that with Windows 365. So bring your own PC programs are growing in demand, and with Windows 365, it provides device and operating system agnostic BYOD experience. And you can always mitigate the risk presented by unmanaged user-owned devices. So you can enable your bring your own PC scenario with Windows 365, right? So we discussed this, the built-in disaster recovery feature, right? So let's discuss disaster recovery as a whole story. So companies have long focused on line of business applications and data center resources in their business continuity plans. But the events of the last year have brought into focus the need for an effective business continuity strategy that encompasses the needs of end users, right? So with Windows 365, you can enable and quickly deploy a secure work environment to any of your employees, anywhere on suitable device they may have access to. So you allow for work to continue regardless of the circumstances. This reduces your RTO and RPO level for your end users while providing a secure, pre-configured work environment. And also, temporary workforces and remote hybrid work, these are really correlated to each other. But temporary workforces are also a great scenario. So think about scenarios like interns or contractors, where onboarding and offboarding needs to be agile and quick for elastic workforce. It's low risk, low effort with Windows 365. You might have project-based contractors who need secure project-based access to company resources on desktops, laptops, or virtual endpoints. So while using their own company-issued PCs, you can enable Windows 365. You might have short-term employees, seasonal employees hired to meet planned surges in demand or production and need some Win32 apps, cloud services, and so on. And also you might have some elastic workforce like interns, students, or trainees who need secure full-time employee-like access to company resources for a limited time, right? Windows 365 can really help you on these scenarios. And also mergers and acquisitions require our customers need to provide seamless transition access through rapid growth, right? Providing access to resources across secure boundaries, integrating teams into new environments during mergers and acquisition, separating some resources in preparation for the spin-offs, right? Securing the board and transition teamwork environments. I mean, these are some of the challenges that you might face during mergers and acquisitions. So Windows 365 enables this rapid provisioning of pre-configured cloud PCs to simplify IT's job during M&As. So application and resource access across organizational boundaries will be there. You will ease the transition of spin-off and divestitures. You will have board member and venture capital access, maybe, right? You'll have transition team data centralization and many more for mergers and acquisition scenarios. And also, maybe finally, we need to discuss about this remote and hybrid work. So the need to access your information wherever you are through any device is needed, right? We know this. Hybrid working is very real right now. So Windows 365 enables access to a fully persistent personal one-to-one device from any device with a HTML5 browser, be it iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, or Mac, right? If there is connectivity, you can access your cloud PC. And finally, we have end-of-service devices and existing VDI workloads. And I'm sure you are all aware of these two scenarios. You are dealing with the services. You have some devices that are expiring, you have some VDIs that you're struggling with, and these are all scenarios that you should keep in mind Windows 365 if you're facing this kind of challenges. So we discussed these 9 scenarios, but I think it's more important to hear from you. That's why we have a poll for you. So it's poll time. Again, we will just post a question into Teams chat. So please vote your answers. So thinking about these 9 scenarios, which scenario is the best fit for your company today? Which one is in your agenda? So of course, maybe more than one can be eligible for you, but try to address the best fit for you. Is it data security, disaster recovery, remote and hybrid work, high capacity computing, temporary workforces, end of service devices, bring your own PC programs, M&As, or existing VDI workloads? So I cannot wait to see your answers in the chat. Yes, data security. We have 4 data security, 5 remote hybrid and work, 2 bring your own PC programs and existing VDI workloads. Good. Okay, I think remote hybrid work and data security are leading right now. Great to see that these scenarios resonate to you. Okay, so we will move forward with the demo, but before that, I just want to show you different configuration of Windows 365. So as I mentioned big time, So you can access your Windows 365 Cloud PC from your desktop, from laptop, from tablet, from phone. We are platform agnostic. You can access it through Windows, Mac, iOS, or Android. And you can provision your cloud PCs either with Windows 10 or Windows 11. It's your choice. And you see the different compute and storage configurations, and each offered at fixed per user per month price, right? So you start with 2 vCPU option. You have up to 8 vCPU. We start with 4 gig of RAM up to 32 gig of RAM, and you have different storage options starting with 64 gig up to 512 gig of storage. So you will have all of these different compute and storage options, and you can scale up and down whenever you want. So you will have specific fixed per user per month pricing for these cloud PCs. So with this, I'm waiting for your question in the Teams chat, and I'm now handing it over to Farouk for the demo. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope we can work together on Windows 365 in the upcoming period. Thank you so much. Over to you, Farouk.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Matt. Yeah, so I would like to confirm if I'm audible. Can you just have a thumbs up just to confirm that I'm being okay? Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I would like to share my screen to show us what Matt has actually been explaining since, right? It shows how it works out in the real life environment, right? So I'm going to show us two parts. I'll show us the administration part, then also the user experience part, right? So, but with more focus in the user experience. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. So just like Matt mentioned then that the Windows 365 is actually being managed is being managed from the Microsoft Intune portal. And the Microsoft Intune portal is also known as the Microsoft Endpoint Admin Center, Endpoint Manager Admin Center, right? Yeah, so for you to access this portal, you just enter, you just navigate to endpoint.microsoft.com, right? So it will take you directly to this portal, right? So once you're in this portal, you can just go to devices. Then at the middle, you can just scroll down to Windows 365, which is under provisioning, right? Yeah, so everything around the management of the Windows 365, you can get to access it directly from this portal, right? And for you to provision Windows, or for you to provision Windows 365, you know, just like Matt mentioned, it requires a license. So once you've been able to purchase the license, right, and you've assigned it to your users, right, as an admin, if you come to this portal, you get to see all these things here. So the first thing you need to do is that you need to first take care of the kind of network, that's the Azure network connection, the kind of network at which you want to place all these cloud PCs to, right? And as we all know, there are two types of joining. There are two types of domain join, right? So we have the one that is called the Azure AD join, that's the Azure Active Directory join, and we have the hybrid Azure AD join. So it's possible for you to join this cloud PC to either the Azure AD or your on-premise AD, which requires the hybrid Azure AD, right? So, and the reason is because, you know, all these cloud PCs, right, as you are provisioning the Windows 365, the Windows 365 environment, it has to place that Windows 365 to a particular domain or to a particular AD, right? So if it's an organization that places their PCs into their on-premise AD, so you would specify the hybrid Azure AD while setting up this Windows 365. And if you make use of Azure AD, you can also specify Azure AD, right? Depending on the kind of settings you have in your environment, right? And I'll just run a brief around the Azure AD and also the hybrid Azure AD. So the first thing, you need to create the network connection. You just come here. Once you come to the Azure network connection, you click on create, right? So once you click on create, you have a lot of boxes to fill. So let's say, for instance, I just want to name, just for the demo sake, I can just name it maybe demo Azure network connection. I can just name it demo ANC, right? So because I specified Azure AD, right? So that's why I'm having Azure AD here, right? So also, if you are joining it to the Azure AD, you have two options. It's either you make use of Azure subscription or not. So for this particular part, we'll make use of Azure subscription, while I'll also show you the other part that you don't need to make use of Azure subscription. So for here, so I'll select the Azure subscription that I want to use, right? Then also, for those of us that are familiar with Azure, you need to place your resource in a particular group, right? So that means you specify the resource group you want to place them also, right? So once I specify, let's say I want to make use of this Cloud PC resource group, I can just select it. Then also, I would also select the virtual network at which I want to place the Windows 365 to, right? So I select the virtual network, then I select subnet, right? So it's always advisable to place the Cloud PC or the Windows 365 in a new subnet, so that if you have any firewall rule in your existing subnet, it won't affect or disrupt the Windows 365 environment. So I can just select this, then I select next. So once I select next, I'm good to go. So I can just create the network connection. So this is for the Azure Active Directory. So what if you want to join into the local Active Directory? So for you to join into the local Active Directory, you have to have what is called hybrid Azure AD in place, right? So that means what this hybrid Azure AD does is that it allows you to be able to take policies from your on-premise and policies from cloud. So if you have the likes of group policies in your existing AD, maybe you have the likes of group policies in your existing ADs. So if you make use of this hybrid Azure AD, those group policies will also come into this Windows 365, right? So I can just select hybrid Azure AD. This is just demo part as well. So let's say I just want to name it maybe demo 1, or let me say hybrid AD ANC, right? So I'll select my subscription as usual, right? I'll select my resource group as usual. So for this virtual network, this part is very, very important if you are joining those if you are joining your Windows 365 to the on-premise or to the hybrid Azure, it is very, very important. So you need to have a connectivity. That means you must have a connectivity between your on-premise and the cloud, right? There needs to be a tunnel between your on-premise network and the cloud, right? So for this virtual network, you must select the virtual network of the VPN that you have. That VPN that is connecting your on-premise to cloud, you must select the virtual network of that VPN. So once you select the virtual network, you must also resolve the DNS of that virtual network to the DNS of this virtual network. I mean, you must also resolve the DNS of this virtual network to the DNS of your on-premise AD, so that those cloud PC will automatically, or those Windows 365 will automatically join to your on-premise domain, right? So once you've been able to do that, so you just select the virtual network you want to use, select the subnet. Just like our advice, is always advisable for you to make use of another subnet, create a new subnet, so that if there's any firewall rule, it won't disrupt the subnet you are using. Then you select next, right? So once you select next, since you are joining it to the on-premise AD, so that means you need to specify the AD you want to use. So let's assume I just want to use let's assume I want to use this domain, signalliance.com, right? So if you want the cloud PCs, the Windows 365 to be placed in a particular OU, right? You can also specify the OU, right? So you can specify the OU so that it will join, or it will place those cloud PC into the OU, right? So once you are done with that, you need to also specify a username, right? A username that has the permission to join PC to domain, right? So because remember I told you that is at the point of you provisioning this Windows 365, it automatically joins it to the domain. So it requires an account, an admin account that has the full permission to join a PC to the domain. So once you specify that, right, you also specify the password of that, right? You specify the password and you confirm it. So once you are done with that, it would also create the Azure network connection. So I don't want to go deep down in the hybrid part, right? For the demo, I just want to show us more on the Azure AD part. So once you are done with that, it will now carry out check, right, to verify all those information that is specified. As you can see, the one I created then is still running the check. So once it's done with the check, it will verify, like this one that I created initially, the checks have been created, right? It has successfully checked all those informations that I placed, all those information that I printed. So it needs to check them and see if those informations are right? So let's assume all those informations are fine. Just like, as you can see, this has been checked. So that means all the informations are fine, right? So the next thing you need to do is to come to this provisioning policy and create the window, or to provision the Windows 365, right? So for you to do that, you can just click on create policy. So once you click on create policy, let's assume I want to name it demo policy, or maybe I want to create this cloud PC for finance team. So I can name it finance, or let me say IT cloud PC, right? IT cloud PC, right? So I'll specify the kind of domain join that I want to use, right? If it is the Azure, if it is hybrid, right? For the demo, I'll select the Azure, right? So once I select the Azure, remember I said it is possible for you to, for the Azure part, it is possible for you to either utilize the Azure subscription, or if you don't want to utilize it, you can also make use of what is called the Microsoft hosted network. So using this Microsoft hosted network, so that means you're placing all this Windows 365 in a Microsoft hosted network. So you don't need the likes of virtual network, or you don't need the likes of Azure subscription, right? So you can either use anyone. For this demo, I can use the Microsoft hosted network. So if you specify the Microsoft hosted network, then you need to specify the kind of geography that you want to place those cloud PC network in, right? So let's assume I want to make use of maybe, let me just make use of maybe East US, right? Or maybe UK. So you would also specify the region. So you can specify the region you want to use. Then once you are done with that, you can select next. Once you select next, right? If you don't want to use the Microsoft hosted network, you can also make use of the Azure network connection, whereby you get to select the network connection you specify then, right? You know, the first thing we did was that we created the network connection. So you can just select that. So you can also select that. Once you select it, you select next, then you specify the image that you want. So you have two options. You have the gallery image and you have the custom image. So for those of us that have our personal image, we can also get to upload it to the portal and we'll be able to utilize it. So for the demo part, I'll just show us the gallery image. Right, so we have a lot of images that you can use. Remember, Matt mentioned something like you have the option to select either a Windows 10 Enterprise or Windows 11 Enterprise, depending on the kind of operating system you want to use, right? So for this demo, I'll just specify the Windows 11 plus M365 app for business. So the existing M365 app for business, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, Teams comes with this operating system by default, right? So once I'm done with that, I can just select next, right? Then I'll select the kind of Apache system that I want. For the sake of this demo, I'll just allow it to be managed by the cloud PC manually, right? So once I'm done with that, I can just select next. So once I select next, I'll need to, because this cloud PC, I'll need to specify, I would have created a group, either a group from your on-premise. If it's an hybrid environment, you can either use an on-premise group or you can use a cloud group. So I would have created a group. I would have placed the users that I want to assign this cloud PC to, right? So let's assume I've created a group. I named it cloud PC, right? Cloud PC users. So I can just select the users. Then I'll assign the provisioning policy to them. Then I'll click on next. Once I click on next, then I'll click on create, right? So once I click on create, it automatically provisions the cloud PC for the users, right? So as you can see, I have a provisioning policy here. I have a cloud PC. A provisioning policy that I just created, right? So we have it here, right? So once you are done creating the Windows 365 environment, so the next thing is that the next thing is to assign it, assign the URL to the user, or you give them the agent they can use to access the Windows 365. So I'll show us two parts. Let me start from the let me start by using the remote desktop. You can make use of the agent called remote desktop. But then let me just show us the URL before that. So the way your users or end users can access the Windows 365 environment, you can just go to the URL called windows365.microsoft.com. And this can be accessed from any kind of device. Is it from your Android phone, from your iOS phone, from your Windows phone, or from your Mac phone, right? Or from your Mac operating system, right? So that's the way it is. So it's trying to load the Windows 365 platform, right? So you can either access it directly from browser, or you can download the agent, right? So it makes use of remote desktop, right? Yeah, so let's assume I've downloaded. For you to download the agent, you just click on this, you download the agent. So I have the agent on my PC. So I just want to access the agent. I can just search for remote desktop on my PC, right? So once I click on remote desktop, so this is my cloud PC environment. I have two cloud PCs assigned to me using different environments, right? So let me use this second environment for it. So I'll double click on it, right? So once I double click on it, it prompts me for my credential, right? So yeah, so I input my password, right? Then I press OK. So once I press OK, right, it takes me directly to the environment, right? So this is my cloud PC environment. This is my cloud PC environment, right? And let me just show you something. I want you to check out something. So this is my main PC. This is my main PC, right? As you can see what I have in my screen. Can you see all the icons, all my files in my desktop, right? Now going to my cloud PC, you can get to see everything as well from here, right? So everything I have in my personal PC, right? Everything is also in the cloud PC. That's in the Windows 365, right? So now let's go to, this is my document. This is my desktop. So let me also go to documents. As you can see, these are the documents I have. You can see one click, AZ material, advanced installer. So let me also go to the document I have in the cloud PC, right? So these are my documents. As you can see, I have exactly the same thing, right? One click, advanced installer, app software, and the same thing also goes to pictures. Everything I have in the picture in my main PC is the same thing I'm having in the cloud PC as well, right? So this is what is called the business continuity, right? I can be able to continue working, right, from this Windows 365 environment, right? Also looking at the existing applications, the likes of Microsoft Teams, right? I have my Microsoft Teams in the cloud PC environment as well. See my Microsoft Teams, right? This is the Microsoft Teams from the cloud PC environment, and this is my Microsoft Teams from my personal PC, right? So the experience is the same thing, right? The experience is the same thing, right? So I can, let's say I want to chat with someone, maybe I want to chat with this person called Emmanuel. I can just send him any chat. And they would receive it. It's still the same thing, right? Also, let me also open Microsoft Word for those of us that utilize the likes of Office tools, Microsoft Word. So this is my Microsoft Word, right? I can also get to work on my documents, right? I can get to collaborate on my documents using Microsoft Word, right? Also, if you are also familiar with the likes of the Microsoft Information Protection, which is used for classifying documents. As you can see, I can also see all the labels that were created by my organization to protect my documents. I can also find all those labels in this cloud PC environment. So if this document I'm working on is for internal consumption, I can just click on internal, right? And I'm good to go, right? So the same way you work directly from your personal PC or from your current PC, that's the same way you get to work from the cloud PC, which is the Windows 365 as well, right? Lastly, let me also show us, let me try to download a file. So this file I want to download it's over 300 and something MB, right? As you can see, the first one is 193 MB, the second one is 142 MB, right? So let me click on next to download the file. You will see the speed at which it's downloaded the file. Can you see? Within seconds, it's not even up to 3 seconds, I've been able to download over 300 and something MB files. So the internet speed is also very fast. So just be rest assured that while you are utilizing this cloud speed, this Windows 365 environment, everything is even intact. So the network speed is even faster than the current or your regular PC that you utilize. Also, look at the internet speed. Let me use the speed test to evaluate the internet speed of this cloud PC environment. Just trying to evaluate it. So can you see the download speed? The download speed is 325 Mbps, right? Look at the upload speed, 5,087 upload speed. So tell me, this cloud PC is a thing that we need to start utilizing so that we can be able to properly continue working. And if you look at most organizations, most of all the likes of executives, that whenever they are traveling, they prefer to access most of their corporate resources directly from the likes of tablet, from the likes of iPad. So you could also set up the Windows 365 and provision it for them, and that they can be able to do all these things that I'm doing directly from their tablet or directly from their iPad or from any kind of device. So that's how it is. And also, you can also get to utilize any application if you make use of the likes of other applications as well. You could also get to utilize it. Yeah, and also, as part of the management, I just want to mention this lastly. So as part of the management of the Windows 365, right? So now, since it is being managed directly from this Microsoft Intune portal, if you want to deploy applications to the cloud PC environment, right, you can also get to deploy the application directly from this Windows 365, directly from this Intune portal, and those applications will get installed into the cloud PC environment. And we shouldn't also forget that the likes of security, looking at the security part, all the existing Microsoft security features that we have, the likes of conditional access, right? The likes of conditional access, the likes of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, which is an endpoint solution, right? If you also currently utilize group policy for managing the security of your PCs, so you can also extend all these security features to the cloud PC environment. If you utilize SCCM for management of applications, for updates, you can also get to do all these things in the cloud PC environment, right? So those are the benefits and those are the things that you get to utilize and you get to enjoy directly from the cloud PC, right? So, and remember, Matt also mentioned that directly from this Intune portal, you can now manage both the physical PC and the virtual PC. So every management that you can do from the physical PC, right? To the physical PC, you can also get to manage them also on the virtual PC, which is the Windows 365 environment, right? So I don't know if there are questions. Do we have questions?
Yeah, there's a question in the chat area, Farouk. Farouk, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm trying to check the question.
Okay, so I believe Babuchi has provided some answers, but maybe you could shed more light. How easy are integrations with legacy ERP applications like SAP?
Yes. So one good thing about this Windows 365 is that remember I mentioned that at the point of you provisioning the cloud PC, right? You can get to either join it to your on-premise AD or you can join it to your cloud AD, right? So let's assume you are joining to the on-premise AD, right? So it makes use of VPN, so it's easily for you to connect this Windows 365 to your existing line of business application. So if you have the likes of ERP or you have SAP or any line of business application, it's possible for you to integrate it with the Windows 365. Yeah, so that's about that, Mr. Damilola. Is Mr. Damilola, you're my namesake. So also, the next question is, Windows 365 works with, Windows 365.
No, that's my question. That's like the response that
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. So, Matt, I believe we have like a last poll that we're supposed to run. Do you want to drive that, or do I go ahead to just launch it?
Yep, I think we can launch that poll.
Okay, so do you want to talk through it while I launch it? Thank you.
So Farouk, thank you so much for the presentation. So we have one final question. I hope you enjoyed the session. So I hope it has been beneficial for you. So from now on, we actually want to hear from you how we can support you as Microsoft and Signal Alliance Consulting. We want to support you on your cloud PC journey. So from now on, what would you like us to do? Do you want a briefing meeting? I mean, do you want Windows 365 workshop or use case or scenario mapping? Or maybe if you want to even dive deeper, maybe you can ask for a proof of concept, or even if you have the licenses, you can ask for deployment and implementation. So would be great to see your answers. So Signal Alliance team then connect with you on the next steps. So we have the poll in the Teams chat right now and waiting for your answers. Perfect. Answers are loading up. Workshop, I see some workshops. Use case and scenario mapping. These two are leading right now. Yeah, I also see one deployment and implementation. Good to see. Good to see that. Perfect. I think Windows 365 workshop is leading. So Iabode, you see, we need to work on Windows 365 workshop big time after this webinar.
Very much understood. And I'd like to employ everyone that has requested for the webinar to please just leave in the chat area your email, and we will reach out to you to make sure that we deliver this to you. Farouk and Met, thank you so much for this engagement. I have dropped in the chat area your emails so that everyone that needs, more information, more details, support of any kind, they would feel free to reach out to you. Thank you all so much for this engagement. Also, SA Consulting is online, so I have put up the handles. We have different handles across all digital channels, so please feel free. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we're available to offer support at any point in time, 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week. Thank you all so much for staying tuned to this webinar till the tail end. We appreciate your time. I don't know if Farouk or Met have any closing remarks before I wrap this up and give you back your 1 hour of the day. Farouk, any remarks?
No, I'm fine. I just want to thank you for joining the call, and I hope you find it useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Farouk, any words from you?
No, I'm just fine. I'm fine. So thanks to everyone for joining the section. Just like Iabode mentioned. So if you need anything from us around the Windows 365, we are always there to support you. If you need workshops, you want deployment, you want POC, we are here to support you on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, Farouk. And on behalf of the Signal Alliance Technology team, the SA Consulting team, and our partners at Microsoft, I'd like to say thank you all so much for joining in, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. Well done. Well done, everyone.
Thank you, Florence. Thank you, Myth.
Thank you, Florence.
Thank you. Thank you, Nosa. Thank you. Oh, Dami, you have your hand raised. You have a question? Okay, thank you. I guess that's a thumbs up. Thank you, everyone.